Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and we also have
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock.
today we are talking about the delays of the Marvels, right? So initially they announced there are going to be some delays. It's actually been pushed back a ways. It's been pushed back from this July 28th to November. Now for Marvel, usually the delays don't mean anything. Black Panther was delayed, for a Spider-Man movie, which ultimately the Black Panther did way better than Homecoming. Um, what else? But most of the time, they've given Marvel the benefit of the doubt when it comes to delays. That doesn't mean the movie is screwed. But in this case, they decided to open up a little more, and I guess it's just how they do it, right? They decided that there are going to be some delays, and the person at fault is our whipping girl, Brie Larson. Brie Larson is getting it once again, and ultimately, I'm going to say it like this: in my opinion, of Brie and the Captain Marvel movie, the Captain Marvel movie did it what it was supposed to do. It made $1 billion. It was a successful movie. It borrowed from a movie that was a favorite of mine. That made this less of a favorite for me. And the tone that they took with the scrolls was something I wasn't with. But one of the things that I think that she struggled with was the costume was one thing. It looks like they fixed it for this one, but at the same time, she was put with a lot of people that had already had time in the game on those things, and they also trying to get her to speak out about things. Where we've seen her do a bunch of other movies, and she wasn't that going around, with the political signs talking about stuff. So it kind of made her the whipping girl on these things where she would say whatever it was. The other people would roll their eyes, and it is like, let's have it with a group of people that we can have some fun with, and we can get out. Because she's been in Scott Pilgrim, that movie, and a bunch of other things. She's been like a supporting character in like Amy Schumer's movie, and you don't really hear all this terrible stuff. But now they're saying we're seeing some diva-like behavior, and because mainly she thought having a successful movie, when you do the sequel is more of me. And they decided, nope, this is the Avengers Marvel team up thing, which I've talked about a lot. You're getting a couple co-stars. So you want to chime in here because I can keep going. I can keep going. What do you have to say, Cal?
Brie Larson did not do herself any favors with any of those interviews that she did. And she was saying some off the cuff stuff, and they ran with it. Anybody who was a detractor ran with it. The media loved, spinning it up. So she didn't do herself any favors along those lines. But I agree with you when it comes to the other performances she did. Amy Schumer, Scott Pilgrim, even her. Most people don't know her pop album, which came out when she was a kid, which isn't a bad pop album. So all in all, she's got some talent. She's definitely got some talent there. However, she became a real easy target, and they piled on her since Captain Marvel. Piled on her for Captain Marvel. Piled on her when she appeared in Endgame. Pile, blah blah. However, she's well within her rights as an actress. Like, hey, last film did really good. I can get more of me out there. No. Marvel, we like to do these ensemble things, so on and so forth. For those of us who don't think they would have done it with Black Panther if Chadwick Boseman hadn't passed away, think again. Because the first film was a big time ensemble
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just what Marvel ends up doing. And, actor, actress, yeah, you want more of this particular focus. But in her situation, I can understand why she would like some more focus because she's been getting hammered nonstop from, since she's been a part of this particular universe. And now, if the film does well, it'll be, what's the spin on it? Oh, it's because we had Monica Rambeau and these other people in, who was this other one
Oh
now?
my goodness! Yeah, it had Miss Marvel, the actress who plays Miss Marvel. She's like the Kevin Feige find, the person they found. Was she from Jersey City? Like someone who walked up on the street. That's
Yep.
another person that could take all of the fame from her. So
comes out. Yeah, no, that film would have sucked if it wasn't for Kamala Khan. That film sucked if it wasn't for Monica Rambeau. That film would have sucked if it wasn't for this, that, and the other. And you've already been getting a tough time of it. I think there was I think it was a red carpet, not an interview, but she got a couple of questions regarding Captain, or a question regarding Captain Marvel, and her response was, "Well, does anyone really want to see another movie?" And
Yes.
that's pretty much what she's at. She's like, "Look, I'm getting hammered over here. At the very least, give me a film where I can come out, show my stuff, and try to put some of this to bed." No, no, we're gonna pack it with these other people. All right. So pretty much this, I'm gonna just get tagged with this, and this is how I'm gonna have to ride the rest of the time I'm there. So yeah, you're gonna get some behavior. I don't think I don't think it's as much as like the behavior we got out of Olivia Wilde on that film with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles. I heard some of the stuff there that was just really wild. I don't know if it's to this point, but that's the situation. That's the situation she's in, and it's to be expected.
Well, that's the thing. That one of the things is, and it's hard to say because you say it to somebody and you say, "All right, I'm doing here. Rocky was a success. Next thing you know, we're gonna have Rocky as a tag team with somebody else. Like the Rocky Two would be something like that. Whereas the third one, then you build something, but it's still the other characters are supporting characters, and that's the thing. If you wanted to do no, at the same time, I can't even say it because I would say I would go back to just having Monica Rambeau be the Captain Marvel, this Marvel, but they would have teamed her up with 4 or 5 people to have the mini Avengers movies like they've been having since. Sorry for all this junky stuff that pops up, but they also point out their Blade delays because Marshala Ali is having the same issues. Is saying, "Hey, this is a Blade movie. What's all these other people going on?" And that's one of the things that why, if you remember, there was an old movie called what was it? Boxing Helena with Kim. It was supposed to be Kim Basinger, but it's like you sign up for these movies. You don't, you hear this thing, the talent involved. You don't know what the script's going to be like, and then you wake up and say, "Wait a second, I'm going to be in a box. This is most of the movie's going to be me in the box, getting on this guy's nerves. I'm out of here." And they're like, "Breach of contract." Kim Basinger's terrible. Look at that. She just walked off and she just tried to go totally against the contract. And then you see Boxing Elena on cable with Cheryl Finn, and it's like, yeah, she made the best choice of getting out of that mess. So it's most of the films are kind of already set before you get involved in it. So you sign up for 3 or 4 movies. She's like, "Well, all right, I show up at the end of the event, the beginning of the Avengers and the end of Avengers. That's fine. I show up at the end of Kamala Khan. That's fine. I show up at they hinted me at the end of the Infinity. That's fine. But I've got a movie coming. It's gonna be me and some Skrulls and Sam Jackson and these 2 other girls. And it's like, and that's the thing. You can't. I mean, I think they say which people are fighting for screen time, and that's what's happening way back with William Shatner, where it was like he got the City on the Edge of Tomorrow, and he wanted to read the script, and he's just going through, seeing how much, how many times he's on the screen, and I say that's not a strange thing because the same thing Ice-T said when he got the role of what's that thing in New Jack City. He was like reading it, it's like I'm on every page. Like how? Like I thought I was going to just have a guest star. It's not strange for an actor to either expect to have more time on screen, or the same instance of like Will Smith looking at Django and saying some of the key parts of this, the white dude gets to kill the guys, is getting these key parts, which should be the heroes thing. It should be my thing, and they're like. Oh, Will Smith. But it's like you're the star. You got $1 billion film. I mean, the thing of it is, once they found Sean Connery for James Bond, they were planning to stay in bed with him for as long as they possibly can. That's why they allowed him to come back. Those other times, like because he was gone, and then next thing you know, it was like, hey, they didn't even know what the numbers were for the George Lazenby one. And they already were like, "We'll give you whatever number you ask for." And then it's like, you know what? After that, they gave him another ton of money to do Thunderball over again. So, which is never wasn't the only what's the name Never Say Never Again. So I just think um, who knows? This is not saying I don't know Brie. It could be terrible on set, that sort of thing, but a star of a movie wanting to be the star and not having to share it. Hence, like Blade Trinity, when you've done two movies, they've been very successful. We had a group of people in the second movie, but it didn't take away from Blade's character. And the next, Trinity means it's going to be split up between him and two other nobodies because they weren't big at the time. Now you look at it, he's like, oh, Ryan Reynolds. Oh, well, what's her name? Was it Jessica Biel? She's more with family, but she did a role recently. But it's like, hey, these big stars in Wesley. Wesley was the big star, and those guys were people that in Hollywood they liked, and they were like, we want these guys to be big. So, it's I mean, I think she's getting a little too much heat. You can call her on a statement she made. You can
Yeah, and they're making a commitment. A lot of people don't get this. They're making a commitment of time.
yes,
So when you're there as an actor and you're like, all right, I signed up for this, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be the star of this. I'm here. I can't do anything else. Okay, I got to be there for these particular shoots. I got to be waiting around, doing all that, and that's how much 2 months, 3 months, 4 months to film this thing. I could have been doing something else, but no, I got to have all this committed time right here. And for what? It's not my movie. I can't do anything else. I could have been doing another project to try to get myself out. And then in the world of acting, you're only as good as the last project. And all of these guys, it doesn't matter. It could be Tom Cruise, okay? It could be Will Smith. It could be Brie Larson. None of these guys ever know if that film they did is the last film. If they're not, what's the next film? Do I have something else coming down the pike? Because it is that tenuous at the end of the day when it comes to filmmaking. You could be, what is it? Kate Winslet said that. She said after Titanic, she was scared she would never work again.
yeah.
That is the world that they live in. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna come here. I'm not gonna. This is not my movie, but I still have to commit all of this time to it, and I can't do anything else. And what did I say no to? What did I say no to sit here and do this? Now,
Yes.
bad behavior is still bad behavior at the end of the day, but I can definitely see where it's coming from because that is the situation a lot of people don't take into account with it. And she just got a lot of pile on. She's just gotten a lot of pile on at the end of the day. So, some of it she definitely worked up for herself, but she's just gotten a lot of pile on.
Well, and one of the things people don't always talk about when the so-called diva actor looking at the cut and saying you should put more of me in there, it works because they say that they allowed they allowed John Travolta to sit in on the edit and look at a cut, and he's like, what about some other stuff with me? Can you put this other stuff in there? Which they did, and you wouldn't know that it didn't have it in there because it was so successful. So it's like you didn't say, well, kind of overdone. So it's like one of those things where um, I think, in my opinion, I don't think you should always do the team ups. Yes, you're giving the people more bang for their buck, but now they will come to expect it. And you can't do a movie where you start out with a character. You can't do Spider-Man without having Iron Man in it and having these other people. You have these guys where you have, say what you want to say about the first run of movies. Whereas the majority thing was they would do in the sequel they do two villains, right? That was the key thing. And then you got Batman Begins, and he had what, two villains or something like that, or seemingly two villains. No, he had a couple villains in there. So they would pack up the villains, but now um, Marvel's doing this team up thing, and I don't think it didn't work as well for DC, but Marvel is like, we're going to take this to the bank and keep doing this. And team ups are always fun, but it's fun when you don't always do them. You don't have to see who's gonna, like, how is it gonna be Blade and freaking the Black Knight running around in this movie? Like, he said, well, he was a part of the Midnight Suns first, so he got like, and yeah, he was. And Wesley and Goyer, they somehow put it together where Blade was the star, right? This nobody of a character, and they turned that into star making material, that's launched the Marvel Universe. So you don't need to do a team up outside of him having a love interest in there and some supporting characters. But I don't know. I just got on a tirade. But yeah, I think they give it a little. I mean, Marvel's been gotten so much ease when it comes to reshoots, and everybody else gets the movies finished when I think there's a ton. Every movie goes through reshoots. Every movie goes through testing, and they fix what it is to testing to get to the point where it's successful. So, but putting the blame on your star, like who else put out this information? Marvel did. So they're trying to get rid of her. It's terrible. So she's gonna transform. You're gonna hit the bands, transform. It's gonna be a new actress in it. So.
Well, no, that's not happening. But not the way that Marvel likes to pay those contracts, or should I say Disney at this point? Well, actually, Marvel was already on the Disney train. Like, we're going to pay these guys as little as possible to make sure that we can keep as much of this money as necessary for future films. Well, they had the right idea. It's actually what Warner Brothers is just getting now. If we keep these budgets low, then we can maximize on profits. We'll have more money, that sort of stuff. No, I don't think it's too much. There was this story I heard about the Superman animated series some years ago, and about the. It seems that Bruce Timm and company had a lot more challenges getting Superman out there, as opposed to anything they did with the other characters. And so, they started their designs and who they were going to use, and either it didn't work or they kind of lost interest. And then it got to the point they were planning on making the Superman show a team up show. So it would be Superman, and then he would team up with someone, and that's how they were going to do the show, which really just shows they had very little interest and drive to get that show out there. So they bring it to Jeanette Kahn, who's editor in chief, or I forget no, she might be publisher, at the time with DC. So she sees it, and Jeanette Kahn is on record saying her favorite character is Batman. She really doesn't understand Superman or like a lot of the stuff that was done previous to the 1986 reboot. But she looks at them, she's like, it's Superman. Doesn't he deserve his own show? Shouldn't Superman have his own show? Before you guys do all of this other type of stuff. And then they finally went back and said, okay, and we got what was the Superman animated series. So in the same vein with Brie Larson, look, you played ball, you had your own movie that was with these particular additives. As you already said, she's like, I'm pretty much making these cameo appearances in these other films. I'm making the cameo appearances here. And what's the thing that's being dangled? You've got your own movie coming down the pike. So, play ball with this, and then you get to like cut loose in your own film and then find out, oh, wait a minute. Even in my own film, I'm not going to get to cut loose. I mean, at what point do I deserve to get my own, to get these particular things in? What point do I deserve to get my own show? And that's notwithstanding any of the controversy that she caused for herself. But coming from, that's where a lot of actors, actresses are coming from when you see that type of behavior, especially, when you can check off everything that went before they got to that point.
Well,
There's there's patience, and then when you realize, man, because what's the chance she's actually going to get a third movie?
well, that's the thing. That's the aspect of it, and you know, I would hate if Rogue shows up in this movie and it's like, well, we got to play that part out. What? Where she loses her power and then Rogue gets to run around with Captain Marvel's power for forever with no blast. Rogue doesn't have blast power, but who knows? But no, one of the things is with Marvel, I know that's the thing. They get kind of they get hold on for 1 second. Let me just do it. Like with Marvel, they've been in Disney, they've been, they have gotten the best press as much as you can get from these sort of things. Whereas, with the removal of Terrence Howard and the celebration of Don Cheadle, like they gave, outside of, him making a lot less money, they gave him like 2 hours to make the decision. So it wasn't like, hey, we picked the better actors. Like, hey, buddy, it's you or some other guy we'll call up. So make sure they're not they're not always, you can say it's for talent, but at the same time, talent at a price and at a time limit. Like, it's not the stuff you would want to hear as far as being I mean, they're the ones that have a number of billion-dollar properties under their belt, and they act like, you know what, the depression is coming. We need to do another Avengers movie as soon as possible to make sure it is. And I know this is not even related. Like, they're gonna do a whole new. They're actually saying that they're gonna be a new Avengers. Like, they're gonna be the young Avengers. Are gonna be all newbies, and I guess mostly girls. And who's the guy? I know some elder statesmen in the team too. Maybe, but they're gonna be some bad puns. But
It's
yeah,
gonna be the young Robin Hood with young Maid Marian, young Friar Tuck, and
yeah.
young sheriff and the young sheriff of Nottingham.
Well, that's the hard thing is when you've got all these plucky. We're veering off from what's the name. Get all these plucky young female characters in there. Like, how do you differentiate them besides trying to utilize their different nationalities as their personalities? Like, it turns into something where you get this banter where it just, I don't know, the future doesn't look as bright when you had characters that we kind of knew, even though they kind of pushed the limits of it, of having Cap and Iron Man be at odds, and you know two out of the the odds in the first movie, at odds in the Civil War, and kind of not messing with each other in the end game type of thing. But in real life, outside of a couple moments, they were close friends. So but they got some mileage out of it. So I don't know. Ultimately, Brie, she's getting more. It's easy to kind of put the heat on her. So they're giving it to her, and if Marshall Ali wants to have some stuff, we'll give it to him too. You want to be a solo star when we can put in the Black Knight and these other team ups that's going to help your movie. Blade is a movie that was successful, and people are waiting to see Blade again, So I don't know. It's falling into this ensemble Marvel team up acts of vengeance thing where you mix and match villains and all that and characters. It's a surefire way to maximize your success in having these other people, but don't kill yourself in doing that. You got $1 billion property in Captain Marvel. Maybe it's not that, but at the same time, it could just be her against the Rogue or one of other some villain designed by Dave Cockrum, and do a movie around that, or you can do the Sleazoids or something, like any of that stuff. Have her do something cool. There's so many monsters and aliens in the Marvel universe, and she was going around the world, all around the universe. Do something with that. But anyway, they're gonna take their shots at her. She's the one, the pincushion, so she's gonna get it. And hopefully it doesn't, with this, then people come out and do what you were saying. Oh, Monica was so great. They should have shut up. We got videos out there already saying that. So it's too late. I don't want to hear none of that running under there and say we should have had the homegirl be the one, because I got too many videos saying that should have been the one first. So Johnny come lately. Sorry. Anything else? Last words?
No, anyway, No, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. And we already know how fickle fandom is. This is no different. I said it before, Superman Returns comes out. Everybody's like, oh, whack film. Brandon Ralph's terrible Superman. He comes out, does a little bit, new suit. Hey, he's great. He should get his own show. We know how fickle fandom is at the end of the day. So, we can expect them to say it. They're probably already, priming the pump to say it at the end of the day. But hopefully, overall, the film is, entertaining, does well, and you just go from there. There's really nothing else to it at the end of the day.
All right, so that's about it. Spinner rack
Out.